Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be strong language and adult themes. And we're missing all the people who say fuck yeah to that, so.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. Sauce gets posted in the side chat earlier, but doesn't seem to be there now. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I see skits in about 12:43 here.
Yeah, about 15 minutes ago. So anyway, today is Pause the World Day. The idea is to kind of disconnect, shut everything off, and just try to appreciate the quiet for a while. And I could certainly use to do that.
Silence can help you get in touch with your emotions. I don't want to get in touch with my emotions. My emotions suck.
No, I haven't seen my emotions for like the last 4 moves, so they probably got lost in shipping somewhere along the way before I got to New York.
Yeah, we got Godless Scummer in the side chat.
I see that.
And Sloth Girl.
And yeah, I'm keep it back.
Yeah, stop the world. I want to get off.
Okay, Jeff dropped you a link in Twitter there, in case you didn't see one in one of the groups. Hey, Soft Girl. Haven't even had a chance to check on her yet this morning. Yeah, I'm just kind of dragging here. And I'm trying to put down a Red Bull and hoping that's going to help.
Okay, we got somebody trying to argue on Twitter here that which post would be best to bring up here? The LGBTQ plus are saying there is not a man or a woman, and there are social constructs. Therefore, how can this person present as a man, referring to people or a trans man, without contradicting that core message?
Yeah. The Twitter argument about what is a man or what is a woman is just, I don't know. I just don't see anybody getting anywhere.
Well, I was trying to explain. Well, sure, this is probably a conflation of sex and gender, where we have basically you can define in sex as you have to produce eggs, woman, produce sperm, man, and it gets a little bit more complicated than that, of course. But
yeah, well, that's where the problem usually comes to, and unfortunately, most of the people who are arguing against trans people basically tend to define woman as being able to, produce children, which also goes along with, so any woman that's infertile or past menopause is no longer a woman and in their views worthless.
Probably not, but
yeah, well, that's usually what it comes to when I wind up arguing with those people.
I think their understanding comes from that film Kindergarten Cop. That little kid that says boys have a penis, girls have a vagina. That's about their level of understanding, I think.
But I was trying to explain that when it comes to gender, it's more of a spectrum of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's the root of the problem, is especially the people who have like a heavy Bible indoctrination seem to be very binary about things. They seem to have a lot of trouble getting the idea of anything being a spectrum.
So I was looking into this question. They're trying to get me on, and it seems it's stemming from Matt Walsh's "What Is a Woman" segment. I don't know if you heard about that.
I've heard of it. I have not bothered to look at it though.
I just came across the Wikipedia page on it, so I don't. That's as far as I know about it.
Yeah.
Now,
It's gonna take. Unfortunately, I do feel like it is going to be one of those things. It's going to take a long time to sink in with a lot of people, and some people it's never going to sink in with at all.
Well, yeah, I mean, we can see that these are the same people, who still don't want to acknowledge gay people.
Yeah.
And of course, they bring up the obligatory trans woman who's doing a terrible job of passing image.
Oh, that's me.
No, this one's actually a shop teacher who's wearing a gigantic fake prosthetic breasts with a shirt that shows off the nipples.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, they went to teach shop class dressed like this. Not exactly the best choice, especially considering the whole argument of trans people are perverts, and here's just candy for the people arguing that point.
Yeah. I had a thought there, but yeah. I say my retention today is not good. By the time you finish your sentence, I forget what I was going to say.
I can get off the subject if you can't focus on it. So
yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. And yeah, unfortunately, Sloth Girl has not chemo as a weight loss program is not recommended.
Really?
Well, she's losing a lot of weight because she goes 3 days at a time that she doesn't want to eat. And I'm pissed because that's my shtick.
Stealing in Purple's thunder there, huh?
Well, she was supposed to make sure that I don't go consecutive days without eating, and now I've got to do it to her. But yeah, yesterday was her chemo day. So
I don't mind trying to answer this person's questions, but when are they supposed to do the thing again? But once they give me about half a dozen post stuff to read through, it's getting a little bit difficult to keep up.
Well, it's hard to really have a discussion on Twitter. The way it threads the posts, I hate, because they're constantly branching off. So you wind up with not a thread, but you wind up with a whole tree.
Well, even if this was on Facebook, it would be getting kind of lengthy and full of just huge long lines of paragraphs. So
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose the only good thing about Facebook in that respect is, you can spend a bit more time typing out an answer or something, or trying to explain something, but it does have that same problem as Twitter, though, in that respect, of it all branching off and going in different directions, but other people start coming in and commenting, and
yeah, but I mean, the way that Twitter handles it literally branches off. So if you follow one comment, you only see people who commented below that comment. You don't see any other comments that came from the original post.
Yeah. Especially if it's like a thread, though, where someone's put about 6 or 7 posts one under the other.
Yep.
And then everyone just jumps on the first one, and sometimes and I think, hold my hands up, made that mistake myself a few times, seen the first post and I'm like, what the hell? and then suddenly, you see there's about 4 or 5 others under it that actually give it some context sometimes. So
Yeah, that happens a lot. And just Twitter sucks. Nobody should attempt to have a serious discussion on Twitter. It was intended for posting jokes and memes. That's what it was designed for, was to post quick little things that people would look at on their phone and go on to the next thing.
Cat photos.
Yes, and I found that Twitter was trainable. That if I don't click on any of the political stuff, after just 2 or 3 days, it shows me nothing but cats and paleontology. It really responds really fast to what you engage with, what you comment on, and what you click the like on.
Oh, the algorithm.
I have found that. And sometimes I get like recommendations of things, and I'm like, why would I have interest in that whatsoever? And it might just be that I've liked something that's, a little bit adjacent to it or something,
Yeah.
Just similar
I get
enough.
a lot of that. That it's so tangential to what you showed an interest in.
I guess that's the reason why I tend to get a lot of the conservative stuff. I have a tendency to try and break out of any bubbles I'm in.
It's always good to
Well, and
not
that's a
be in an
good
echo
thing,
chamber.
It is a good thing. You need to hear, some of the dissenting opinions on whatever your position is. Because, yeah, some of them may have a point. Yeah, and that's, again, one of the things I hate about social media is the way it's designed for engagements. It's really good at helping everybody build echo chambers.
Yeah, it's good for the group think of the 5 minutes of hate on Twitter.
Hey, Sammy. Sammy also agrees with Pause the World today. Pretty much since I got up, he's been trying to convince me to go back to bed. If I wasn't doing this, I would agree with him.
What did my dad used to say? Stop the world. I want to get off.
Sloth Girl said that earlier.
Oh, did you? Oh, damn.
Yep. Yeah, well, now these days it's more like, I no longer want to live on this planet.
Yeah, I was posting that yesterday.
Yeah. Well, the famous meme from Futurama with that.
Yeah. I don't want to be on this planet anymore. I miss Futurama. Aren't they bringing it back?
I heard a rumor that
supposedly.
they might. Yeah, I heard a rumor that they might be producing some new episodes, but I don't know whether or not there was really anything to it.
I mean, it would be tough because, I mean, it did end on like a perfect episode. So, I don't know.
Well, they did do a good job of bringing it back after it was canceled the first 4 times.
This is true. This is true.
It does. It did have a bit of a reputation as a show that was very difficult to kill off.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. I mean, great cast. I mean, it had such a great fan base, but like just swapping between like Comedy Central and Fox and Netflix and whoever the hell else would take them.
Yeah, well, as far as the fan base, yeah, pretty much anything that gets into Adult Swim, that's then people develop cult following for it.
That's true.
So it's definitely something with their audience that they will really push for things. There was a Lego Ideas set that got the 10,000 votes for making the Futurama spaceship as an official Lego kit.
Oh, that'd be cool. Did they actually do it?
Well, like I say, it got the votes for it, but the company has not said anything on it. So I'm going to guess that either they don't think it has enough widespread popularity, which is probably it, or else they think that it wouldn't be worth getting the licensing fee for.
That's true. Huh.
But considering, I can't imagine the licensing fee for it would be a major problem. I think it's more that they think that the show was canceled so long ago that, too many younger people wouldn't know what it was.
Be like, oh, let's start commissioning Smurf projects. Like, because who's the Smurfs? Like,
Yeah.
I get it.
On the other hand, they have done some stuff like that, so yeah, I can never tell what goes on in the company boardroom, who's making the decisions on what becomes a set.
Yeah. Sometimes they're good. Sometimes they're just like, why would you make that?
I actually remember going to, there was a exhibition in London of like this sort of artwork all done in Lego of like DC characters.
Oh yeah.
So it was like a full size Batmobile made of Lego. And
Oh, that's badass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They've actually made a couple of full size cars that out of Lego that they could actually drive.
here's something they just posted to me. Gender is directly linked to sex, and everyone knows this deep down, including the trans people. But it's deliberately separated to make your narrative work. The problem comes when people will want to harm themselves when the two don't match. That's a direct contradiction. Can I respond to that, anyone?
I'd respond to it if I knew what fucking language it was in.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's like some word salad shite there.
Oh, I got that bag. Try to get links.
So how's Sloth Girl doing?
Well, yesterday was her chemo day. I really haven't had a chance to talk to her this morning before I started.
Oh, okay.
She could always pop in here and tell people.
Yeah, you totally could.
I will say that our fundraiser did reach the $7,000 goal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey,
So,
brilliant.
Very much appreciate everybody who donated and everybody who helped fill out the link so that we got it in front of enough people to reach that.
Yeah, skits for donations. You were a beast for that.
Yeah. Yeah, Skits Crasher made the final thing of 350 something to, get it to the top there.
Just glad I could help.
And we also had another anonymous $1,000 donation. So
that was a biggie.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I've seen that happen a lot when I've helped run fundraisers.
Yeah, you get someone who always puts in a very big donation.
Yeah. So there's a couple of people in the community who have money and just don't want to broadcast it. They don't want people to know they have money, which I can understand because then they probably get pestered all the time.
If I had money, I probably wouldn't be broadcasting it, but I don't. So
And sometimes you just need a hug and $1 million.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and really, I feel that's the truest form of charity is when it's given anonymously and they're not even looking for any recognition.
Absolutely.
Money isn't everything, but it does take the sting out of being poor a little bit.
Yeah, money can't buy happiness, but it can alleviate a lot of misery.
Actually, was it British comedian Spike Milligan said something about money? He says it buys such a better class of misery.
Yeah, I suppose. Well, see, the trick is to be rich without being famous. It's the famous part that gets you most of the misery.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I'd like to be, you know, a best-selling author. That people would know my work, but nobody would know what I look like. Then I can go to the grocery store and nobody's going to bother me.
I've never understood the whole I want to be rich and famous. Like I just want to be rich. Like,
Yeah. I have never understood the thing of people wanting to, you know,
apparently
live in the public light all the time.
Apparently, after a certain level of richness, it becomes a burden.
I can imagine. I mean,
yeah, but if being rich becomes a burden, it's a lot easier to become poor again than it is to become rich.
So burdensome, you just have to pay someone else to handle it.
Yep.
Hang on, I need to cry. Let me get a handful of $100 bills to wipe my tears.
Hey, dog. Yeah, I was trying to get some links, so had a couple of new people come in. So Sandy and Commander 401.
Nice. But yeah, it's like myself. Like I'm by no stretch of the imagination a wealthy person. You know, I'm a lowly government employee, but you know, as far as you know, certain things, you know, especially as of recently, you know, with developments with my mom and whatnot, she didn't have a lot of money either, but she was very generous with what money she had. So I like to do this, you know, kind of thing to honor her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that.
Well, and for me, the fundraiser, you know, is in a way a loan. I know it'll take me a long time to pay it back, but like people donated $2,000 for our moving fund a couple of years ago. And yeah, you know, since that time, whenever there's been a fundraiser, I've, you know, thrown in $25, whatever I can afford. But I think I have put the $2,000 back into the community by now.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
So.
Yeah, I think you've. I mean, I just personally, I won't. I sort of take part in like fundraising streams and I'll donate, but I won't. I kind of don't want to hold any more on my channel. I've got my reasons for that, so.
I can understand.
Well, I'll just say one of them I got. One of them I plugged. I got one of them I plugged turned out to be a scam, and then the other one I don't want to get into why, but I'll just say it very nearly cost me a friendship with someone I value. So
yeah,
I'm kind of like I don't know if I really want to. It seems any time I plug one on my channel, it ends up blowing up in my face.
Yeah, I know a couple that have turned out to be scams, and I got lucky that I wasn't one of the people promoting those, but it's also part of how I got known in the community was for doing some fundraisers early on when my channel was still pretty new.
Yeah.
Got a couple of people the equipment they need to start their own channel, and they have long since eclipsed me.
That's generally the way things go, isn't it?
Well, I don't know if anybody here watches the Leah podcast.
Oh, was that with Christy, isn't it? It's on that.
Yeah, one of the first fundraisers I did was to get Christy Santiago a computer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because she was just trying to stream from her cell phone and didn't have a computer.
She's someone I'm gonna have to get on my channel or something at some point. She's someone I'd really like to have a talk with.
Yeah. Oh, she's very cool, and you know she does genuinely care about people. She wants to help people out, you know, and
yeah,
she gets really upset about things just because of the level of stupidity and that so many people are, you know, attacking other people or even being self-destructive because they don't understand enough about the issues to see that they're hurting themselves.
Yeah.
Hey, Nerdy, I have no problem with that as long as you're upfront about it. As long as you state what the money is going to be used for, if people want to send it to you, that's up to them. It's only a scam if you use the money for something other than what you told people you were collecting it for.
Yeah.
The hilarity of the hilarity of a scam would be, you're saying you're collecting it to alcohol, but you actually donate it to St. Jude's.
Yeah, you donate it to a rehab program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty safe, dog.
Hey, Dave.
Howdy.
Hey, Dave.
How's everybody doing?
Good, bud.
Okay.
I'll probably be a little bit quiet today. My doctor put me on Gabapentin 2 days ago to help with my restless leg and anxiety, and it's kicking my butt.
Oh.
Yeah, I've been on Gabapentin for years, but it affects everyone a bit differently.
Oh, I understand it's supposed to kind of kick your butt for a few days, and then you kind of get used to it. But the good news is yesterday I went out in town, and for the first time that I can remember, the flight response wasn't on full-fledged. I was actually kind of able to relax. So that was a really good thing.
Yeah.
Good.
Small blessings.
Well, that's something I haven't really talked about, but for me, that's the worst part about not having a car is when you're dependent on the buses, there's no escape clause. I have to be sitting on the bus, and if someone starts talking to me, regardless of what bullshit they're spewing or how uncomfortable they make me, I can't leave.
That's when you get the let's talk about Jesus shirt.
Yeah, it's just it creates a lot of very high anxiety situations for me that I just walking away isn't an option.
Yeah.
Even at the bus stop, if they start talking to me, it's like, well, I can walk away, but then I've got to wait an hour for the next bus.
Tends to be a lot. That tends to be the time when I sort of tend to stick my earphones in as if to say, "Don't fucking talk to me."
just bring along Mage, and he can sing sea shanties.
Well, I've got more than just sea shanties.
But they're my favorite.
I just always feel like I'm being trapped or something, no matter what. And I always have that flight response on full force, and I can say it really helped with that yesterday when I was out in town. So I'm kind of excited about it. I sounded, don't I?
Yeah, well,
Yes.
I'm glad it helped you. But yeah, basically, I never let myself get into a situation that I don't already have an exit planned. And quite frankly, that's why I'm able to socialize online far more than I could ever do in person.
Yeah, you can just walk away from the conversation if you want.
Yeah, well, that's, even in a live stream, if I really get the panic reflex, I can just disconnect, and I can always claim later that my internet connection went down and nobody's going to think anything of it.
God, it took me forever. I like did every damn thing I could to freaking strong arm you to start a channel. I didn't think it was ever going to happen.
Well, I'm glad she did.
Me too.
Well, I had the channel, I just wasn't doing anything with it.
Right.
But actually, all the live streams started from doing the Christmas Day marathons. And, I did that on a lark the first time and figured, yeah, it's no big deal for me to stay up 24 hours. But I got some messages afterwards that apparently it had quite an impact on a lot of people who would have been stuck alone.
I
You've
think,
had a
yeah,
huge impact
I
on
think
a
they're
lot
awesome.
of people, Purple.
And I say probably, especially the last couple of years, especially, they've been very, valuable to a lot of people. And we've been locked, locked up or whatever at Christmas.
Yeah, especially during the COVID lockdowns when people couldn't travel and they couldn't be with family that they were used to for the holidays.
Yeah.
Don't everybody speak at once.
Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with the description. But actually, yeah, probably like in about a month, I'm going to need to start recruiting people for, doing segments for the next Christmas live stream.
Hopefully I'll be able to this again this year.
So what is this Christmas like? Obviously, it's a live stream around Christmas, but what is it like a?
Well, the idea is to have somebody live every hour right through Christmas Day everywhere in the world.
Oh, okay.
But to cover it everywhere in the world, we actually have to run 48 hours.
And that way people, who are at home alone or whatever, have somebody to talk to or
that's neat.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
just
a
so
good
that
idea.
There's a place for somebody to find friends if they're stuck home alone. Or some people even a place to actually unwind with friends after they've had to have dinner with the family and it didn't go well and such.
I haven't been a part of it yet, but it's been very, very successful.
I like it. That is a great idea. How long has this been going on?
3 years? 3 years? 4?
Look how you look up at the purple here.
2017 was the first one.
Oh my word!
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. So this would be like your sixth one or something now, wouldn't it? Something like that.
5th year. This would
Fifth
be
year.
the 5th one.
Okay.
So yeah, basically we just ask everyone to host a 2-hour time slot, and then you just pass the audience on to the next channel.
Interesting. That's very cool.
I like the fact that I think that I like the fact that I got the 10 p.m. to 12 p.m. UK on Christmas Eve slot last year. I could kind of call it my midnight mass.
Oh, that's cool.
Hey, Purple. This year, since I'm not working, I'll be able to be involved in that, and I'll also be able to fill in those weird spots where nobody can do it. So.
Yep. Well, that's part of the thing of this really being a worldwide community that, with people on different continents, we can fill most of the spots. There do get to be a few gaps. Mostly the very early morning hours.
Like 2 a.m. Christmas Day.
That's generally though when you get people from like say the UK or whatever, isn't it really? Or
I guess it started just waking up Christmas Day on in the UK.
Well, that's kind of the thing that I'll need to make sure we've got a couple of UK people and try to recruit a couple of the Australians.
Australia's fake. Oh. Fake
Australia's real. Oh, it's on the bottom of the flat Earth disk.
Yeah.
The UK, however, ceases to exist every time I power down my computer.
I fucking wish that worked. I fucking wish that worked for me.
I just see Scrum's like, no.
Yeah, unfortunately, I get this sort of quite reminded quite often that it's real.
Well, how is the country? Is it managing to return to normal now?
Yeah, it's people have got over the shock that nothing has actually changed in the last, I've been,
It's really
um,
sad. From what I understand, it seems to be more of a negative thing than a positive thing.
Well,
Like,
I couldn't believe that, like they wanted everything in the country to shut down for the day. Like they didn't
pr-
understand that people need some basic services from companies.
oh, yeah, I mean, it's like things like the blooming food banks and that, which, I mean, the fact that we've even got food banks, to be honest, is a disgrace anyway. But the fact that they're necessary is a disgrace. But
And what was that thing about the chain of like hotels that was going to shut down completely for the day and was actually
oh yeah, Centre
kicking
Parks, that was
people
funny.
out? It's like, where did they expect people to sleep for the night?
Yeah, they got told no, you got to stay open.
Okay, well, I'm glad that got changed.
Yeah.
maybe they've
Yeah.
opened up Windsor Palace.
Yeah, I heard people on Twitter talking about taking Windsor Palace and turning it into a homeless shelter.
I'd take all of their bloody palaces and do that.
So oddly, I was talking to my doctor, and I was totally afraid to mention pathological demand avoidance to her, because it's not recognized in the United States. And I could not believe it when I was like, "Well, I think I might have it." She's like, I said, "I know it's not recognized in the United States, blah blah blah," kind of, And she's like, "Well, it is recognized by the World Health Organization," and just goes on like nothing happened. I could not believe it. She completely validated me, and she
Nice.
knew what it was. That was the
Yeah.
big thing.
It's like, yeah, you do know, like. So I'm assuming your status with the World Health Organization hasn't changed.
Hmm.
Well, in the southern states, it has.
Yeah, ever since President Fuckknuckle, yeah.
Yeah, I actually had not heard about the pathological avoidance. I didn't know what it was till you started talking about it.
Yeah, I'm watching your videos on that. Seems to fit me pretty well.
Yeah, that's the same thing I'm
Pathological.
thinking, that, it kind of fits and kind of explains why I never get projects done.
Well, I
'cause
thought
it's
I had
all about.
GAD, but no, it's definitely pathological demand avoidance, and that's kind of why I'm kind of focusing on that on my channel and on TikTok right now, to just bring out some awareness, because I knew I was autistic for a year, and I've been doing the hyper focused study on it, and I still didn't know about it until a couple of months ago. So that's my mission right now. PDA awareness.
Interesting. Is there like a treatment, like a counseling, or is it just classes or anything like that, or is it just something that just must be lived with? Or
Well, I'm on the Gabapentin to help with my anxiety. Basically, what's going on is with pathological demand avoidance, your flight response is on all the time. And if, like, for instance, my wife, it's you're avoiding demands, avoiding anything and everything, because it causes anxiety. So it's anxiety-based demand avoidance. So, like, my wife the other day, she's like, "You want breakfast?" No. And I did. But she asked, and the thing was, is I knew then she was going to start asking, "Well, do you want eggs? Do you want cereal? Do you want this? Do you want that?" And that was too much for me. So my immediate response was no. So you will say no to things that you even want to do, and you will avoid things that you like, even because of the anxiety that they bring.
oh, interesting.
Even like getting on a live stream like this, I love everybody here. I mean, this is my people, but it a lot of times, and I know Purple is like this too. I know she it kind of has a hard time getting things started, you know. But thank goodness she's able to keep going.
Yeah, it's kind
Yeah,
of like
every week, an hour before the stream, I'm ready to cancel it.
yeah, it's kind of like I need to get new tires in my car, but I'm getting bombarded with okay, you need to get the number of the car or number of the tires, the name, make of the car, all that, you know, all this stuff, and I'm just completely shutting it down.
What brand, what place should I go to?
Yeah,
How long,
exactly.
how much should I pay? You know, it all of a sudden there's all this anxiety. So you're like, well, screw this. I'm not going to put on tires in my damn car.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, that's what I get a lot of too. I get into projects, and then it's like making decisions about all the details, and it's like, yeah, it's not worth it.
A good example is on my vehicle, my tags have been expired for 6 months. And there's so much anxiety about going into the DMV to get tags that I just haven't done it. Which and that's an important thing.
You get pulled over.
Right. I could get a ticket, have to pay, but no matter what, my brain does not want to cooperate with my intellect.
Interesting.
Yeah, I need to go and get mine renewed here soon.
Yeah, well, and that's what I've wrestled with all my life. Is it's like, you know, intellectually I can, you know, put things in columns and that, and it's like, yeah, what are all the advantages of doing this and getting this done? But yeah, then the anxiety level gets cranked up, and it's like, okay, I know I need to do this, but I just can't.
Yesterday, I made a TikTok about this, and I call it my two brains. And what I mean by that is, it seems like my intellect and my consciousness and my unconsciousness and my emotional side of the brain aren't actually connected. Like they aren't cooperating with each other. So, like, you know, in a meltdown or whatever, yes, I know everything is okay, but I can't tell my brain that it's okay.
Yeah, I know how that is. It's exactly how it is for me too.
Man.
I love that, Nerdy Rodent. You're totally right. Nerdy Rodent said, I get into pathological avoidance, but it is a serial procrastinator, but I can't be bothered.
Yeah, I'll procrastinate later.
Oh man, it is so nice outside after like this ridiculous heat wave up in Northern California. It was like 116. It's kind of sprinkly outside and 71. And I'm wearing long sleeves for the first time, and
Yeah, I was getting a nice rain shower this morning.
I love it. And Darcy is also enjoying the rain, but she's also essentially a neighbor.
Yeah, we'll get the rain Friday, but we're finally getting some more moderate temperatures. You know,
Moderate, I can handle.
Well, we were up in the mid to upper 80s for most of September, and that's just not right around here.
No,
That's
no,
normal
so-
for my area.
Yeah, now we're going to be highs in the mid 60s for the next week.
I could take that.
Yeah, you know, need a jacket, but that's doable.
Rather have to put on a jacket than like sweat to death.
Yeah, I'm finding I don't take the heat as well as I used to when I have to walk a distance. Well, I can't walk as well as I used to, and I feel that's probably a long-term COVID issue. That I don't have the endurance that I used to have, and that happened within the last year.
I was out on a golf course with a bunch of other vets, you know, mostly Vietnam and Iraq and Afghanistan and all that. And it was a pretty hot day. It was like 110, 115. And we were all commenting like, man, we used to be able to take so much more than this. Like, we used to have to wear like the full battle rattle in 125-degree temperature, and now we're like, wearing golf shirts and like dying in the shade. It's like, man,
What
the hell?
happened?
What happened?
Hey, Purple,
Well,
I'm a
and,
little bit behind on this times. How's that going with your car or getting a car?
we did reach the goal for the fundraiser. So, my brother's going to be picking it out for me, so I have to get the money to him. And, then it's a matter of until he finds something good in our price range. So, could be a couple of weeks yet, but, everything's moving along. It's all in process.
Hey, take your time on that, do the right thing.
Well, that's
awesome.
why I'm having him pick it out, because, he's a mechanic. So I was always afraid that, I may ignore some little noise that'll become a major issue in 2 or 3 months.
Absolutely.
Good call. Good call.
I'm excited. I am so excited.
Me too. I'm happy you guys are going to have hopefully reliable transportation, especially for, all that treatment and stuff that you guys got to get back and forth to. Sorry, my nose keeps itching.
And, the buses in the summer are manageable. In the winter, it can get, nasty just to sit out there for 5 or 10 minutes.
For real. Speaking of the weather. Yeah.
I was just thinking about yesterday about what an amazing group of friends I have. What amazing people are in this group. I mean, what's
to include
the odds
yourself.
What's the odds of, to just live stream together, that when someone's hurt or sick or whatever, they travel across the country, to help them out, or we've raised or like tens of thousands of dollars for people over the years. And it's just amazing how these random people just take care of each other. I'm really grateful for this group.
Yeah. Well, and people helping out in every way they can. Like when we moved here, Ailey's fake name, had never met him, but on the day we moved, he showed up to help us unload the truck. And it was like a 2.5 hour drive from home for him.
I'm gonna say, it was amazing people you've got in this group, this little social group. I don't know how the fuck I ended up in it.
I just kind of wandered in one day.
Yeah. Well, and the
just
same
wandered
kind of
in
thing.
One day. You can't fucking get rid of me.
When I wound up going back to Michigan for stuff I'd left in storage, that Randy, harmonica man, drove up there to help me load up there. And gave my mom and my sisters a live performance.
You know how hard it is to get an in real life friend to help you move? Like,
hey, it's my favorite example that karma works without needing a spiritual component.
There you go.
If you're nice to people, friends show up to help you. If you're an asshole on moving day, there's no one to lift the other end of the couch. That is karma.
True that. True that. But anyway, I actually have to get headed out here in a bit, but I just wanted to stop in and say hello and see all you wonderful peoples.
Greatly appreciate you. I mean, you've been my top contributor to my channel for the last, several months here, and, just amazingly generous in the fundraiser. So really appreciate having you around and, just having you hang out and chat and throw in your opinions on everything.
Well, thank you. And thank you so much. It really means a lot. And I appreciate you, Purple. I appreciate all of you here. I appreciate everyone in our community. You guys are great. And, I'm happy and proud to be a part of it. So on that, everybody have a great day.
Hey, you have a good one, Skit.
Yep.
Later.
We'll see you around. And not sure what that was from.
I had something amazing happen on TikTok that I just couldn't believe happened. I made a video and some people chopped it up and made me look like a racist. So I started getting so many stitches and stuff, so much hate that I just quit. I just turned off the channel and left for a month. I didn't even bother to look at anything. And I went and looked at it a few days ago. All those negative videos had disappeared. And I found out while I was gone that people in TikTok, as toxic as it is, they actually advocated for me, and all those people took their videos down. I couldn't believe it.
So people went back and saw your original video and realized what a hack job they'd done.
And then started putting pressure on everybody else, and it all disappeared, which was a huge relief. With the PDA, it wasn't an admission of guilt. I just couldn't deal with it. So I just disappeared. And I was just so amazed that these people stood up for me.
Yeah, and that's the real hazard with social media and, cyberbullying, is that, some people, they don't have a way to deal with it, and it's driven some people to suicide.
Right, and that's why I didn't try to defend myself or anything else, because I knew I would just get more and more upset, and so I just left completely. But I'm glad I went back, and I know there were some people that advocated for me, and I just specifically, and I'm just so grateful for those people.
Yeah, being called a racist, there's basically no defense against it.
Oh, yeah, exactly. The funny thing is, I just made a video about in response to that indirectly, and the thing is being autistic, and I know people would be like, yeah, whatever, but I found out that all these people are like, yeah, you're right. And basically what I said is my autistic brain isn't capable of comprehending how someone could hate someone for how they were born.
Yeah.
And I really can't do that. My brain just can't wrap my mind around it. If somebody's an asshole, yes, they're an asshole.
Hello, Jenny.
Hey, Jenny.
Yeah.
Hi,
Hey.
kids. How's everyone today?
Okay, how are you doing?
Oh, pretty lousy.
Oh, no. What's going
Working on my car. It's still not fixed.
Yeah, I know you said something that, what was it, the brake booster went out on you?
That's what a shop diagnosed it as, and I questioned it, but I decided to take their advice, and I acquired one and installed it, and it hasn't changed anything, so they were wrong. I'm going to go back to my original diagnosis.
Oh. So you're back to troubleshooting?
No, I know what I'm going to do.
Oh, what's it need?
I think a brake master. But it's not behaving like any bad master I've ever dealt with before, so that's why they misdiagnosed it, because it's not behaving like anything we've seen before. So, what the fuck? How's everyone?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, tired, but managing to function.
Well, that's good. You should see my arm. It's absolutely gashed to death.
Ooh. What you do? Is that from messing around with your car?
Yeah.
Yeah, reaching into the engine.
Into the interior under the dash to get at the brake pedal and the clevis and
yeah,
all that stuff.
Well, at least it's something that you've got to know how to deal with.
Yeah. Yeah, it only took a couple hours to find out the diagnosis wasn't right. And it's okay. Shit happens.
Yeah, most of us would be at the mercy of whatever shop we could find.
So what you guys talking about?
Dave was talking about an experience he had where somebody hacked his videos on TikTok and tried to make him look like a racist, but some people were actually defending him.
Yeah, they made a bunch of hateful. A bunch of people made some very hateful videos about me because I did look like a racist in the way they cut up the clip, and I left altogether for a month, and I came back, and all of a sudden I noticed that every single one of those videos was gone, and I found out that the community had actually advocated for me, and the reason I left is I just couldn't handle the pressure that of being called a hater. I just couldn't do it. So that's actually like the only positive TikTok experience I've ever heard like that, because it's just so damn toxic.
Yeah, I don't even get on TikTok. I see the videos that when people post them to Twitter. But
I might mess about on TikTok now and again, but I don't really pay any attention to any comments on anything I do, because I just feel probably better that I don't pay attention.
What is
Well,
your
it seems to
username?
me that TikTok is just YouTube for people who don't have an attention span exceeding 2 minutes.
You,
Yeah.
TikTok is more of a sewer than Twitter.
It's hard to believe.
It is. It really is.
I don't
Well-
even really watch the videos. I don't particularly like the style and the real catchy things, but there are people that go on and just do educational stuff,
Yes.
and that's pretty much what I do.
Yeah, there are definitely some good people on TikTok that are doing very interesting things. Very funny too. There's a lot of people that are just absolutely outrageously funny.
I don't really like TikTok's format.
Well,
I don't
that's
either,
okay.
but it has taught me how to articulate myself better and how to speak very, very quickly and get my point across very, very quickly.
Hi, Skits, and
Yeah.
everybody else in chat who said hi.
Well, I know I could never do anything on TikTok because, brevity has never been my strong point. I have enough problem, expressing ideas on Twitter because I tend to be verbose and, I don't see anything as black and white. So it's like I feel the need for qualifiers and everything. And if I don't have the time or space to put in the qualifiers, I really feel like I'm not getting my idea across.
That's a very PDA autistic thing. Whereas we do see things in black and white, but we also have all these damn caveats because we see all these different things.
Yeah, Sloth Girl finally got a glimpse of it like 2 weeks ago because I was a game we play and I was trying to help her with strategy while she was playing. And she was literally shocked because she realized that I don't have a strategy. I was simultaneously running 5 strategies in parallel.
That doesn't surprise me.
Well, because you don't know when a random draw is going to, torpedo one of them. So you've got to have backup plans. And everybody says, do we have a plan B? It's like, no, I didn't even start the project until I had everything, at least the skeletal structure out to plan E.
But the thing is, Purple, I know your brain, when you put it in low gear, it's actually an overdrive.
Hey,
So you've
there are times that, for writing in that drinking helps just because it slows my brain down enough that I can follow it. You know, often there's too many things going on in my head for even me to follow what's happening. Most of the problem comes between, you know, how do I get the thoughts in my head into some form that someone else could understand them? Translating the thoughts into written or spoken language is usually where I have the roadblock.
My son and I have spoken for years about two personality types, and we call it the general and the squad leader. And because the general is much like you, Purple, where the strategy, there's so much going on that they need to be the general for looking at the big picture, because out on the battlefield, they just aren't going to work out that well. But you have other people that are just able to make those instant decisions, and they are the people you actually want in the battle, because they can make those decisions instantly and go on without having to look at every single thing. And so they wouldn't be a very good general, but on the battlefield, they're amazing.
Yeah.
Like what I was saying, I'm an idea guy.
Yeah. Do you work at a strategic level or a tactical level?
Right. Exactly. My wife is definitely tactic. I'm tactical. I'm more strategic.
Well, and that's what I usually need somebody to help me with that. It's like, okay, you know, here's this idea, here's what we want to do. So how do we break this down into manageable steps so we can actually accomplish something without going off on too many tangents?
And if with minds like ours, if we're the squad leaders on the battlefield, we'd be dead. We couldn't do it. But people like my wife, she's actually a Marine, and she would be the most amazing person on the battlefield. But I don't know if she wouldn't even want to be in the ready room.
Well, I usually work solo because, you know, I know it's hard for other people to follow what I'm trying to do. And I have such a total disdain for authority that I can't stand being one myself.
That's another PDA trait. I think you and Wolf need to look into that some more.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I remember one time my ex accused me of being controlling, and
that's another PDA trait.
No, I literally broke out laughing out loud because I told her I can't even give the dog orders.
Well, see, the thing is with PDA, that is a trait. And the thing is, what's going on is, like, little children will want to play, and they'll be like, okay, well, you say this, you do this, and everything else. So it looks like they're being very controlling. No, what they're trying to do is control their little bubble so that they don't have so much anxiety. So they will, they do want absolute total control, but they have no desire to be controlling.
Yeah,
and people mistake that.
I really identified with that when you said that in your video, because it's like, basically it's like I had a script written out, you know, so it was kind of like, I'm trying to explain to everyone how the script is supposed to run on the part they're supposed to play. I'm not being controlling. I'm just trying to explain how this is supposed to play out.
This is kind of gets into the whole thing. I've been looking at D&D quite a bit, and I came across these books that actually allow you to do solo play. I'm thinking about getting them so I can maybe like try playing the game solo, since I don't seem to really handle, you know, group play too well. Partly because of what you just said.
I used to play Tunnels and Trolls, and there were a lot of solo adventures for that, and it really came down to the author, that some of them were quite good. Certain authors really pissed me off, especially because some of them just had, you know, things that you turn the page and it just says, you died.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't stand anyone who put in a sudden death without some chance of a saving roll.
I don't think these work quite like that. You still allow you to basically kind of create your own adventure.
Yeah.
But there's like randomizers and a whole list of randomizers you can work with dice rolls.
Yeah, they can be fun. You know, it is, of course, at any point you have a limited number of options, but so they don't let you be as creative as, you know, role playing with somebody who can kind of adapt when somebody comes up with a new idea.
Well, apparently, with the way this thing is, the combinations are very generalized. So you're basically kind of making it up from those generalizations, kind of like astrology.
It sounds to me like if you're going to play D&D alone, you're going to be talking to yourself a whole bunch.
I do that already.
Yeah, but when you're playing, then you have to answer too.
I do that already.
That's,
yeah.
But that's called Dungeon Master training, isn't it?
Apparently, some people do use this thing for creating campaigns.
I've only ever played D&D twice in my life, and that's only since I came into this community.
I've only played
Literally,
it once in my life.
I played a couple of one shots on One Ring 42's channel. Although I did have the epic one with myself, Chaos, and Ex Cult Baby when we Ring did a campaign based on us going on it being tax inspectors going into Dinosaur Adventureland trying to find Kent Hovind's tax returns. That was funny as hell.
Mostly, I've been looking at the D&D for the mine for ideas for my own little RPG project, which is probably never going to happen, but that's okay. I just do it for a little bit of fun.
I just annoyed that we went to all kinds of effort to tag Kent Hovind to make sure he was like his social media people would be aware of this, and we still couldn't get on Whack an Atheist. It's a bit depressing now.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get Ken Ham to call me out. Just because Paulie once said that anyone that Ken Ham calls out by name gets a guest spot on his channel. That was one of my original goals with setting up my channel. Got to get Ken Ham to call me out.
You want him on your channel, or you want to be on his?
Oh, I don't want to be on his channel. I just need him to, you know, like make some comments about me. That's all.
Say my name.
Notice me, senpai.
Yeah, but I haven't done enough controversial videos to attract any attention.
Yeah, see, I'm sort of halfway there with Hovind. I've got one quality that he doesn't like, and that's that I'm British. But the other thing, but the problem is I'm not a woman, and that because that seems to be the thing that really triggers him. Is British and woman tends to because I think the two that I think I've seen him be the nastiest to over the years have been Rachel Oates and Emma Thorne. He was really nasty. He was really nasty. I mean, he's been quite, but Emma's I think made a bit of a, you know, not knocking Rachel Oates, but I think Emma's made of a bit stirred of stuff. She can take it, you know.
Well, I think Ken Ham is just, he's very threatened by intelligent women. And I think it just exasperates them if he finds them attractive too.
Well, Ken was around a lot of men for a lot of years.
Yeah.
Kids, I'm going to have to take off. My battery's about to die.
Okay. Well, thanks for stopping in.
Yeah, I wanted
Let
to
us
let
know
y'all
how
know
the
that
repairs go.
I wanted to let you all know I'm still alive and moderately well. Just stuck in Milwaukee.
Yep. Well, hope you can get home soon.
I
Good
do
luck
too.
on the car.
I actually want to be home. This place sucks. All right. See y'all. Bye-bye, chat.
One of the, you know, greatest community experiences I had was going to the Ark Encounter protest in 2019. So got to actually meet some people.
See, I've only ever met like two people from I know from like YouTube in real life. I've met Joe from Answers in Reason, and I've met I went to Sarcastic Barman's pub like last year, so which was awesome. His pub is awesome as well.
Mm-hmm.
But because we were supposed to be a few of us were all going to be meeting up at this the thing was going to be called Dave Con, the thing David Worley was going to do.
Yeah, I
Then
remember
that
that.
obviously the pandemic put the kibosh on that because we had we had R and Ra for it, and there was a lot of other people like I think Faye the Most Gracious, Rachel Oates. I think Rationality Rules has been booked as well. So
Yep.
and a lot of that was because that event with John Richardson was organising and the way that controversy. But I've kind of find John Richards is one of those guys that every time he opens his mouth, he just seems to make himself look bad. You know?
Yeah, well, the Ark Encounter I just kind of did on a lark, but that was, the first time I met Lavender Lady. I drove over to pick her up on the way down there. Not that it was really on my way, but it was cool. It was fun. It was fun being out there. Yeah, and I afterwards got to hang out at a party with Aaron Ra and Eric Murphy.
Yeah. See, I've always had this weird thing about like there's some of these events I'd be interested in going to. There's other ones I'd probably avoid because there's certain people I don't want to meet in real life and don't want to be in the same room with. But because I've been put off a Faithless forum, to be honest. But
oh, you feel Faithless forum's gone sour?
I don't think it's gone sour. It's just one or two people I'd sooner not that I know were there that I don't really want to be in the same room with. So
I get that. With conventions like that, it's difficult. There's always going to be a couple of people you'd rather avoid. You have to.
I suppose it's one of those things where you just I just walk. If they come out near me, I just walk away. I don't want to talk to them. I suppose it'd probably be the best thing,
Yeah, for me, that was the worst thing about COVID, was canceling all the conventions.
Yeah. I think it'd have to be.
Moving back to Minnesota was because I only had 2 social events a year, and they were both gaming conventions around Minneapolis.
See, the thing was, originally I was going to go to that event that John Richards was organising, mainly because I wanted the chance to meet Aaron. But then, when the whole thing came up with and Dave was going to do the alternate event because Aaron, and the whole reason it started really was that Aaron pulled out of that event after he saw that interview, but he bought a non-refundable flight ticket, so. I think the thing was, okay, we might as well take advantage of having him here in the UK so his trip's not for nothing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, he does so much. He's just constantly booked, probably a year in advance.
Yeah. I'll tell you the one I was really gutted about because I actually flew out because last time I went to Amsterdam and I found out I missed Seth Andrews by a matter of hours. He was speaking there like or something like I think he flew back or something the day I went out there. I was like, oh, I'm so gutted because he's only ever been over he went over to London or something and then Amsterdam and I couldn't go because and I just missed he's never been to Europe before I just I missed the chance to because he's someone I would like to meet actually. He seems like such a cool guy as well. So,
yeah, before COVID started, actually right after I'd moved here, I'd had the idea of of just trying to organize something casually locally, just kind of set up for anyone within driving distance of Minneapolis to show up. But yeah, just as I started talking about that, then we got the lockdown here. So then it was like, okay, well, maybe next summer. Okay, well, maybe next summer.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, we are gonna have to get some of like the UK people together. I think for some event, I think would be awesome. But yeah, I think that, I mean, the messiest one is I went out with I went because Joe from Answers in Reason, he lives not far away from me, so I could be on the train down to where he lives inside of an hour. So, but we ended up having a very messy night on the town, and there's a stream on my channel where just the two of us rambling on for like an hour and a half, completely drunk at a pub somewhere.
Well, that's why I don't drink on my own channel. I'll drink if I'm on somebody else's channel, but I'm not going to drink unless there's somebody who can kick me out if I get out of hand.
Yeah. I think somehow we made it somewhat entertaining, despite that we completely wrecked.
It's never actually happened, but yeah, when I first started doing the streams, I did some where I was drinking. And when I went back and looked at them later, I just decided that wasn't a good idea.
That's why I mean, there's been one or two where I've been. I mean, I do drink a lot on streams, especially some of my own. But I mean, there's been one or two that I've been looked back at, and I've been a bit embarrassed by how bad I was under control.
Well, when I was living in Michigan, I was resigned to the idea that if I couldn't get out of there, becoming an alcoholic was the only alternative.
Well, I think I became very close to alcoholism during the lockdown, I think.
Yeah, well,
because it was literally like it was like all I could do was stream it or drink or both,
Yeah, and if I had been stuck in Michigan during lockdown, that probably would have been the end of it for me. So, glad that we got here, and yeah, since I'm drinking like a third of what I did 2 years ago.
Well, I'm drinking nowhere near the amounts I was drinking 2 years ago.
I did find it funny that Minnesota declared that liquor stores were essential retail and had to stay open.
Colorado did the same thing.
I guess in some ways I could see it when people weren't able to get out and do their regular activities, but self-medicating like that is never a good idea. It always seems like a good idea at the time, but it never really is.
Yeah, I've had to stop drinking too. Well, I'm like, it's not been a conscious thing, but since we're trying different medications for my ADHD and trying to help with the anxiety and so forth, I'm on like 4 medications now, or 3, 4, I don't know. Anyway, I just decided, I don't need to mix that stuff.
Yeah, it could be a problem.
I'm actually surprised with all the different stuff that I'm on that my doctors haven't said anything more about my drinking. You would expect that once you're past 3 or 4 medications, they would just tell you, don't ever do that. But, they seem to not think it's a big deal as long as I don't do too much of it.
Guess it depends on the medication.
Yep. Well, and part of my problem is the sleep, and I found it really funny, they've been trying me on several different sleep medications, and they tend to have the same 2 warnings on them that, caution, may make you drowsy. And so you're telling me that there's a chance it may actually work for what they prescribed it for. And then right under that, it always says alcohol may intensify this effect. Now, is that a warning or a serving suggestion?
Yeah. It's like you're like, but it'd be like saying, but apparently there's also a downside.
Yeah, but all in all, things are much better here. Although, yeah, since we were locked down for so long, I still haven't had a chance to meet anyone here. So I've been in the city 2.5 years now, and I literally have not met anyone who doesn't live in this building.
Most of my drinking usually is just on Friday, and I usually just have one glass. I don't think that's really all that much.
That's
Well, I tend to plant myself, so I take a 32-ounce cup and put about a third of it with ice and probably about 3 shots of whiskey and pour ginger ale over it. That's usually what I'm drinking. I can't really take any alcohol straight. Just the flavors is just too strong for me. So I have to have it with something sweet.
I'll usually drink my rum straight.
If I'm going to drink rum, it's got to be with Coke. But then I'm a bit picky. I'm very much a dark rum person. I won't drink white rum or spiced rum. I'm very picky with my rums. But I'm more, if anything, I'm more of a beer drinker. That's that's really my go-to is beer.
Yeah, I can't drink rum. I have a allergic reaction to anything made from sugarcane. And it's really weird because I can't have anything that's cane sugar. But if it's beet sugar, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
But basically, drinking rum, I can guarantee you that before I get through the first drink, I'm going to already have a hangover because it just triggers just horrible headaches.
Never had a hangover.
And, well, that's what I finally figured out was that the only thing that was giving me a hangover was the sugarcane. That if I avoid that, I don't have them. So it makes it a little difficult. I have to be careful about like the brands and mixers I use because, they don't ever tell you what kind of sugar they've used. So it's only by trial and error that I figured out which ones seem to be okay.
Yeah, I mean, but you obviously, with rum, you kind of know what's in that,
Well, and luckily, Minnesota sugar beets are one of our biggest agricultural products. So anything bottled locally is probably going to be beet sugar.
What'd you do to piss off YouTube, Purple? I still do not have a notification for the stream.
Oh, I don't know. Does YouTube bother to send out notifications?
I got a notification.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, it just hates me.
Yeah, I completely gave up years ago on YouTube notifying me of anything in a reasonable time frame. So what I do is I've got a playlist called upcoming streams. So just whenever I see somebody post that they're going to be having a stream, I add it to that list and then I sort them by the time and date.
Now that's a good idea. I'm going to start doing that.
Yeah. Trouble is, thing with me is I don't ever like. There's nothing I do that's ever like at a sort of regular time or anything. So, which I sort of know is probably what's hindering me growing in a certain way. But I sort of gave up on the idea, like really, being, growing, like being like. I never really thought I'd get big on YouTube anyway. So even when I started.
Well, the thing of getting on Paul Gia's channel is the only one of my original goals I haven't achieved. You know, when I started my YouTube channel, actually, the biggest goal I had was, wouldn't it be cool if I made a video that got 100 views? That would there be 100 people out there who would bother to listen to something I said?
Yeah.
And now I've got the video I made about the Reuben James that is got close to 1,000, but it's taken it a couple of years to get up there.
I think the biggest one I've had is got about 6,000 views. That was about Ken Ham as well, which is weird because I don't often cover him. You know, it's one where he was having a bit of a rant about like atheists being the reason that, so we say things like the Ark Encounter might not have been going the way he'd hoped they might go. So,
but he's doing God's work. If he's got God's blessing, how can he fail?
Yeah, I mean,
how can the atheist be powerful enough to get in the way of God's plan?
Yeah. Damn you, atheists!
Well, you think. I mean, the one where he was having to Barney with the insurance company over flood damage. I mean, you can't write stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, and the insurance company was saying they don't have to pay because it was an act of God.
Yeah.
One thing that I'm trying to wrap my mind around is I pretty much had an atheist channel for about 3 years, and I've got like 300 subscribers. But I went on TikTok, and within, well, it's been less than a year, and I've like taken a month out at a time twice now, which really screws up their algorithm. But I've got like over 18,000 followers on TikTok. For some reason, it really likes me. But YouTube doesn't like me.
Yeah.
And it's my fault. I evidently don't understand the algorithm on YouTube.
With YouTube, consistent schedules are a major part of YouTube. That you have to upload the same time every week. Otherwise, it's just never going to hit you.
That's kind of why I set a day to upload.
Actually, I just completely revamped my channel. I took all of the atheist stuff down, and I've got about 12 videos now on autism.
That's gonna screw up your algorithm.
Well, I know you.
Well, actually, it might help
because
it might help in a sense because I'm doing a new audience, so it's going to take YouTube a little bit of time to figure that out. But that way, at least have a consistent audience. And I'm really trying to focus on the pathological demand avoidance. So I think it'll be kind of easy to capture that audience at least.
Well, since so few people have actually heard of it, that's the question of how do you gather an audience about that's, based around a term that not many people are familiar with.
Right. And I think that's kind of the reason I'm doing it is because if you put those keywords in there are not very many videos out there. So actually there's it's going to be easy to find me.
Yeah,
if a person is looking for that.
Yeah. I know I'm never getting big on YouTube as an atheist channel because very simple reason. Most of the people I've called out in the last 2 years have been other atheists, not necessarily been not necessarily religious people.
Yeah, but that's really important too.
Yeah,
we need to police our own. We can't let somebody just go off the handle just because they're part of our group.
Yeah, it's just been, I mean, it's just that personally, this is where I was seeing a lot of the bad arguments were coming from, was our side, and it wasn't some sort of deliberate ploy of mine to be, like the atheist that calls other atheists out, and I was never my intention. Still isn't.
The reason mine kind of had a hard time is because I am a formal fundamentalist, and my channel was directed towards Christians. Well, what Christian wants to listen to an atheist? Because I talk about the Bible and so forth and its inconsistency. So the audience I was going after were the ones on the fence, you know.
Yeah, that's usually where you have to go.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're really only going to get people who have already got a bit of a question to listen to it.
So it's a very tiny audience, really.
I think it's a bigger audience than most people are aware of. I think there's an awful lot of Christians, you know, who have questioned parts of the beliefs. So, you know, that like there may be little pinholes in there that you can try to insert something into.
So I'm getting lazy and just doing autistic stuff.
No, you know, there's also a big audience for that. You know, there are a number of autistic channels.
I think I can personally make a bigger difference in people's lives doing that than I can as an atheist channel. There's a lot of good channels out there. So many great people.
Well, you know, I did really like the atheist videos you did. I'm sad to see those go. Actually, I don't know if you have copies of them anymore, but if you do, I would say to like set up an archive channel so that those are still there for people to watch, even if it's disconnected from your main channel.
That is a good idea.
I was thinking about getting those videos and starting another channel and just basically posting them once a week, recycling them.
And that would be good. And, you know, you could wind up capturing a new audience that way. Because if you've got that backlog of a couple of dozen that, you know, you can be consistent about it for several weeks.
I got well over 100. I could post twice a week for a year and not even add any content.
Well, I would say just do once a week for 2 years, and I'll bet that would gather an audience. Because like I say, that kind of consistency seems to be a major thing for the YouTube logarithm. That even big channels that, you know, if they have something happen that they miss a week, it takes a major hit in how well their channel's promoted.
I'll be darned. I'll have to take you guys' advice on that. The thing is, when I make a video, I get so excited that I have to post it right now.
Yeah, well, I also think that, you know, scheduling it for a specific time, and especially, you know, like if you're redoing some older videos, schedule them as premieres so that you could be in the side chat and you could be answering questions from the audience while they're watching it.
That's a good idea. I might try that.
I've had weirdly said to me, even though that like a lot of my videos are so damn like low rent or whatever, because it's. But I've had it said to me by a couple of people that the ones where I'm just filming on my phone in the pub are some of my best videos. I've had several people say that.
Oh, one of the suggestions I've got is if you go to your analytics and to audience, there can be a section where it says when your viewers are on YouTube, and if you post when they're during the time that it says you have the most viewers on, is usually the best time to post for you.
Yeah. Oh, really? I hadn't noticed that section.
Mine says that there's not enough data to give me an answer. So,
Godless, I think you're right. If you have a very structured educational based video, that's fine and dandy. But if you're just sitting there talking, just being a human being, people really do connect to that. And even if you're stuttering or whatever, like I do, that doesn't matter. They want to know who you are.
Yeah. I mean, it's more, I mean, to be honest, those videos are more a byproduct of the fact that I don't have an awful, you know, I've got a crappy old laptop which I run everything from and a phone, and I'm hopeless at editing. But yeah, I mean, maybe that does work for me. It's a bit more, if it's a bit more authentic, shall we say?
First video I was
Yeah.
editing, and I actually had the tutorial up while I was doing it.
Yeah, if I was trying to actually do something on a serious subject, I can't just sit there and film it. I have to have a script, and the scripted videos I've done, it's like I wind up recording some of the lines a dozen times before I get a good take.
Oh, that's common for everybody, really. Apparently.
Yeah, well, I mean, some people can just talk off the cuff and they can get their ideas out there. My brain is just, I'm too scattergun to do that. I'll wind up going off on tangents and things and, losing what the original topic was.
For TikTok videos, what I do is I autistic script. I do scripting, for about an hour or two, which I do normally anyway. And then I'll actually get in there and I'm able to articulate myself a little bit better because I've been droning over it in my mind for a couple of hours. And then I sound like I really know what the hell I'm talking about. And I actually don't stutter as much and so forth.
Sometimes I'm very rarely will I actually write out an actual full-on script. I will. There are times when I will make notes, though. Or bullet points. So
that's how I work too.
Yeah. Well, where it's TikTok and it's only 1 or 2 minutes, I could probably do it just with bullet points. Well, one of the things I'm always a bit disappointed with is after I edit my videos, realizing how short they are, because it's like, how many hours did I spend on this? And the runtime is 7 minutes.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? You could easily spend like for a 5-minute video, you could easily spend 10 hours actually producing it.
Yeah, that's about right. Between writing the script and doing the recording and the editing.
Yeah. And
yeah,
probably
about 3
having
to
to do
4
several,
hours for each of those steps.
yeah, several.
And then think about
probably
like
doing
Kate.
several takes.
Yeah, and then think about Kate, where she's doing all animation in addition to all that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Oh, crikey, yeah.
One problem I tend to run into with scripts is my reading is at different paces. So I'm looking at the line of script or whatever I need to read, and what I'm trying to read and what I'm looking at are at two different speeds.
I've noticed that in your videos you tend to talk faster than you do when you're in chat.
That's the reason why.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to like say I have a paragraph. I'm trying to read the line, the first sentence, and I'm already looking at the second or third sentence.
Yep. Well, I have the problem that when I'm trying to read it, I have to slow everything down.
Yeah.
Like when a show has the subtitles, they usually go by too fast for me to read it because
that can happen.
Part of it's my dyslexia, and I get the letters in the wrong order and so forth.
Yeah, that happens with me too. That's the reason, but that disconnect between in reading it is actually the reason why I get that though. Also, when I'm talking off the cuff like this, I'm having to think more. What am I going to say next? So it tends to be slower that way.
Well, I mean, yeah, a good example. I mean, if you think back in the day, like when R and Ra first started on YouTube, because the videos were sort of limited in their sort of length of time, weren't they? Like 10 or 11 minutes or whatever.
10 minutes, yeah.
Yeah. Which is why, if you notice, he sort of developed that art of talking really, really fast, which kind of became a bit of a trademark of his over the years.
Yeah.
Now he was unfortunately, a lot of his older stuff, I actually do have to slow down to watch it, slow it down a little bit to watch it, because he talks so fast. And uses a lot of big long words, so that you have to what has he said there?
Yeah, I do appreciate that YouTube lets you alter the playback speed, because different creators, some
Yeah.
of them I do have to slow down to 3/4 speed, and some of them I do have to put up to 125 because they seem to take so long to get through every segment.
I think
I
you.
learned
I
on
think.
TikTok that I have to talk very fast because there's not very much time to talk.
I think I'm one of the guys most people would benefit from putting up to 1.25 or something. To be honest, if I'm doing a live stream, yeah,
Actually, what I use the 125 for mostly is when I'm actually watching like news clips.
Mm.
It's like, yeah, I'm trying to get the basic information from them, but I really don't want to have to sit through the whole thing.
Yeah. It's good. It's bad though when you have to like put it on chipmunk mode though, isn't it? Sometimes.
I remember I had to actually watch the Ben Shapiro interview with Gina Carano. I wanted to hear what Gina Carano said, but I was just speeding through everything whenever Ben was speaking because I didn't want to listen to that asshole.
Yeah, I do that with some things, and especially like you say, it tends to come up a lot in interviews that I'm using the right arrow to continually skip ahead until the camera changes to the other person.
Well, I was just looking at my channel here. Out of like 100 videos, the most views I've had is 3,102. That's the monster lady. And on TikTok, my best one is at like 627,000.
I say I still don't think I've quite gotten to 1,000 for any of mine. But I've gotten, one of the things I've been thinking about doing is even splitting my channel, because I think the handful of edited videos I have gotten so buried under the weekly chats that nobody sees them anymore.
I think you might be right on that.
Like a playlist of them or something that you could promote or something,
Well, I do have a playlist of my edited videos there, but
yeah.
And I would like to do more edited videos. I keep putting them off for a variety of reasons. I've got a bunch of half-finished scripts. If I'm going to get off my butt and do it, though, now's a good time because I do have a couple of holiday-themed ones that I've been meaning to do, and actually, I think the majority of the videos I've done have been just things based on holidays. So it's kind of my thing of the history and legend behind various holiday practices.
Yeah. It's kind of as long as you don't do the like pagan origins of Christmas purple, you and I won't have a problem. Let's put it that way.
Well,
again, it's the one every goddamn atheist repeats the same wrong things every year, and it gets a bit frustrating.
We should probably have a discussion about that because I went through a lot of that during my pagan phase. So
yeah,
I actually wrote a song about it, which Art Against Ignorance, really cleaned up for me. So if you look on my channel, there's a playlist of my edited videos. And in there's one called Give Us Back Our Holiday. And that's the song I wrote as a pagan about it.
Yeah.
The one thing that annoys me about atheists, what they continue to repeat is the prison thing. Well, there aren't any atheists in prison. I was a correctional officer
for
for
goodness
15 years.
sake.
Pardon me?
I'm sorry, I was just spying out loud there. That's what I mean with dumbass takes on our side at times.
Yeah.
Well, they're completely wrong. And the reason is, yes, the statistics show that. However, I was a correctional officer for 15 years. when they get into prison, they get their prison identity. And when they do, they join whatever ethnic group or whatever they're part of. Well, those groups, those gangs, use different religions so that they can communicate and do business in prison.
Yep.
So, like, you'll have your white guys that are Asatruce, they're the white racists or whatever, and then you have the black Muslims. Well, they're black Muslims, so a lot of the black people will become Muslims. So they may not even believe in what their quote stated religion is at all. They're joining that religious group because of their gang or their affiliation. And
yeah,
so
it's the only way
people,
they can be connected to a community in there.
right. And so all the people see is the statistics of what they claim, but what they claim is completely different from what they actually believe. And so when we see the statistics don't lie. Well, that's exactly what they said that they believe, but that doesn't reflect what they actually believe. So when atheists quote that there's hardly any atheists in prison, it's not an accurate thing necessarily.
Well, you have a completely artificial society inside the prison.
Right. And I think most atheists just don't realize that. And so the information that they're conveying unknowingly is actually misleading.
Yeah. I think that's fair that, most people don't really know about what the situation is for prisoners.
Yeah, it's a whole different world.
Yeah, but, well, like one of the videos that I should do for Christmas is the proper way to stuff a Christmas stocking.
Are you talking about like toys, adult toys, or what?
No. This would be a family rated thing. But there
Well, I don't want you to stuff my stocking.
There actually is a proper traditional way to stuff a Christmas stocking, that it needs to have certain things in it, and they need to be put in the correct order.
I did not know
that. It's one of those things that a lot of people follow the tradition and don't even realize they're doing it. Why you tend to get the same items put in them all the time. But there was meaning, some historical significance behind each of the items.
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot of Christians, they know what their traditions are, but they have no idea why they're doing it.
Well, that's just true of people in general. That there are so many things that people do because it's what they saw their grandparents doing. But they've completely lost the reason, and especially in America, because there are a lot of things that, maybe in the country they came from, it made sense, but now they're living in a completely different atmosphere, so it doesn't do anything. Or just the fact that it's a tradition that made sense when their family was running a farm, but living in a city, it's counterproductive.
Right. My wife's family, they're like second generation Hungarian on both sides. And they have all these, I'll call them superstitions or traditions that they do. And they're really serious. You have to hold to these things, but I don't think they have any idea why they're doing it. Because they're not part of the old country. They're Americans now. But those traditions have remained.
Yeah, well, that's I'm the fourth generation of my family in this country. But my mom's grandparents lived long enough that I knew them growing up. So, I saw some of these traditions that were with the people who brought them here. And at least I had a chance to ask some questions about it.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I definitely take much more from my mom's side, and it's even genetically. Look at most things, and I pretty much got all my genetics from my mother's father. About the only difference is that I'm about 5 inches taller, which is probably based on the level of nutrition we each had as a child.
You know something, Purple? I have no idea what you look like. After all these years, still have no idea what you look like.
She looks like a triceratops. You know this.
Yeah, I've only been on camera a couple of times, so most people don't. They are there on my channel if you go through it. Actually, the most recent one, if you want to go and look for it, was right after our move in 2020. That was one of the things I said that, that I was going to do a face reveal for everyone if we got enough money to move. So that would be posted in March of 2020.
Oh, you'll be unlucky you ever see me.
I did think it was fun that way when I was transitioning. The greatest affirming response I got transitioning was after I came out, and a friend of mine, told a mutual friend who I hadn't talked to in a while about it, that I was transitioning, and his response was, "Which way?" And I had live streamed with him on and off for over 2 years, and he had never figured out what gender I was to begin with.
Okay, I don't know, it's a good thing or a bad thing.
Oh, I thought it was great.
I think it's hilarious.
Okay, traditions teach us who we are and what God expects. Where do these traditions come from? No one knows, but they're traditions. Oh, rat, Fiddler on the Roof. The fiddler get chased up there by their townfolk, and yeah.
Doorknob, you're nothing but trouble.
Yeah. Oh, actually, that Doorknob just reminded me, there was a more recent face reveal I did. When Angie Dell, when the tornado hit her house, and we were doing the fundraising for her, that one of the things I threw in there was that if somebody donated $100, I would shave my beard on camera. So I did that. It wasn't a big sacrifice for me, but it was a thing people were doing. For me, it wasn't a big sacrifice. I only had the beard because I didn't like dealing with it. That was my dysphoria, is that I just didn't pay attention to what I looked like, and I didn't want anybody to look at me.
I've been around trans people, but particularly in this group for so long now. I really want to, at some point in time, dress up like a woman, do the whole damn thing, and just go out into town just to kind of experience what it's like to experience how people receive you. I think
I encourage everyone to do social experiments like that.
I just don't have anybody that can do me up or anything like that, but I really would love to do that.
That's one of the things holding me back now, is I don't have anyone to teach me the makeup. Sloth Girl has just never been that kind of girl. It's like, she's worn makeup for a few special occasions, but not something she normally does.
Although I will say this, my wife and her daughter would probably absolutely go for it. So they might help me out on that. Maybe I should make a video about it.
Actually, it's something that we started talking about, is that maybe I can get Sloth Girl's granddaughter to give me a makeover.
That'd be pretty
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah, Sloth Girl's a grandmother, even though she's only 29.
Okay.
Hmm?
Sloth Girl is 29, and no awkward questions about how her daughter is older than she is.
I'm my own grandpa.
I didn't think of the time traveler angle there.
Why do I feel like we're circling back to for Futurama again? Because I've had the thoughts of an early episode. You know, the one with Fry. It turns out Fry's his own grandfather.
Yep.
There is actually another way that I could get that done. My wife and I go to it's called Thunder in the Rockies, which is a pansexual BDSM convention yearly in Denver, and I know I could get some people to help me out there.
Yeah.
And then I could go out into town in Denver and just do that. I think it'd be really cool to record it. What, you know, the reactions of people and so forth. I think it'd be a great thing to do.
It sounds like that would be, yeah. I would like to see that.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah. I've done some interesting social experiments. What I've done a lot with was sensory deprivation experiments. Like one day I bandaged over my eyes and Sloth Girl took me to the mall and trying to navigate the mall, you know, blind.
Oh, wow.
I used to practice martial arts blind.
Yeah, those would be really good things to record and put on your channel.
Yeah, I was actually thinking of repeating that one, and you're right. That would make a good video if I could get Sloth Girl to, you know, just to record me as I'm trying to like figure out, you know, how many steps is the length of the hallway to the elevator.
So I think this, you know, like I said, there's definitely value in videos like it's being suggested as a, you know, as a social experiment, and I kind of almost, it's just that nobody wants to see me made up like that. That's the thing. Nobody wants to see that from me.
But the thing is I'm thin enough as it is, and with my facial structure, whatever, I think I'd make a pretty woman. I do.
I just said this. I make an ugly man, and I know I'd make an even uglier woman. I'm just, you know.
I don't think I
I've
could
got to
pull
be
off woman.
realistic here. I mean,
Well,
I've
you
already
have to
got long
figure out-
hair, I suppose. So yeah, but
I
You
got the
have
long
to
hair,
figure out your
but-
best features and just, you know, try to attract to them. So
yeah.
yeah, you know, I'd still, for the most part, rather people didn't look at my face too much. Oh, okay. I'm going to have to step away for a minute here.
Yeah.
So if you people can keep the conversation going, I will just be
Well,
back in about
Well,
2-3 minutes.
I actually might need to drop out, to be honest with you, sir. I'll catch everyone later.
Yeah, I think I need to go too, because this Gabapentin and I got to go sleep. It's killing me.
Well, maybe we should just end this then, since it's
Okay,
almost
yeah.
2 hours.
Let's just shut this down here then.
Keep that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does anyone have anything coming up they want to plug? Any videos
Nah.
you're doing? Any appearances on other channels?
Well, maybe I might be over on Lavender Ladies if she does something today at 7. I'm planning. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to get to it, but I'm planning to do planting for my fall winter, which is actually going to be which was actually going to be part of the last video, but it just was getting too long. I need to reshoot some stuff. So there might be that.
Oh.
and I'm up to 65 subscribers so far.
Woohoo!
Okay, yeah. Well, all right. We've all got to post major stuff around social media to at least get him to 100 there. At least at
Absolutely.
100, then he can get the custom URL.
Yeah, I'm waiting for this. The Gardner Scott is a kind of a big gardening channel, and he did a shout out for a bunch of little channels, including mine. And he's going to be doing a whole list of people with links. He's just having trouble getting them all together. There's so many.
Well, that's cool that a larger channel is willing to help people who are starting out.
You have an absolutely beautiful garden, by the way.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, well, with that, then, again, I would like to thank everybody who helped with the fundraiser, either donating or just, posting it out there on Twitter and Facebook and whatever, that we got it in front of enough people that we reached our goal. So, yeah, now it's just kind of waiting until my brother finds something that serves our purposes with the money we've got. And I will keep updating people on that. And like to thank the people who have been just helping me month after month keeping the channel going. Skits Crasher has been my biggest donator. That, the beginning of every month, he's been sending me like $25 on PayPal. So, and Kitty the Atheist, Robert X, Lavender Lady, Greg Hartwick, Dog. I think Dog is still in the side chat here, and Vonrek. I appreciate the help, and basically paying now the majority of the internet bill for me. So on my limited income, it's really appreciated that I can keep doing this without it really costing me much out of pocket. So with that said, we will see you all tomorrow night at 10.
See ya.
All righty, everybody, have a good one.
Bye-bye all.